Dear colleagues, we are presenting the research on information system of psycholinguistic text analysis conducted by Vasyliuk Viktoriia, Shyika, Yuliia, and Shestakevych Tetiana from Lviv Polytechnic National University for the Collins 2020 Computational Linguistics and Intelligent System Conference. The psycholinguistics deals with the encoding and decoding of language signs, correlating them with the state of the participant of the communication. Psycholinguistics also examines the specific circumstances, how internal and external factors influence the development of language skills, for example, the impact of hearing and vision impairment on language learning, or how brain damage can affect various speech aspects. Within psycholinguistics, the new scientific field of text linguistics have been developed. This field investigates the principles and rules of the text formation, as well as types and varieties of speech. Text is the main subject of the research here. Since it has been scientifically proved that the mental state of a person directly influences the production of a speech act, scientists have started to research specific materials. These studies in the field of content analysis and information system are of great importance in the national studies of applying linguistics. Different authors took part in these researches. For example, those we are presenting, they are from the Polytechnic National University or not far from Ukraine. Different information technologies that combine both information technologies and psychology were produced and exist on the internet. Well, maybe the most famous is the Rorschach test or select face test and 16 associations by Carl Jung. This time we're talking closer to about the Thematic Apperception Test. It presents the projective technique. This technique involves respond of a person to the stimuli designed in such a way that responding to situation, a person subconsciously projects these stimulations on him or herself. Projective techniques give an opportunity to examine human subconscious and a powerful tool in psychodiagnosis. Most popular, as I said, projective techniques are, or projective texts are, as I said, Rorschach test, the select face. It was developed for the preschool children, 16 associations by Carl Jung, and the Thematic Apperception Test. It's based on the narratives about the picture, which is shown to the investigee. A simple version of the Thematic Apperception Test is available online and employs the linguistic inquiry and word count, a software for the psycholinguistic text analysis designed by James Pennebaker. It's mostly for those who has English as the first language. In this online resource, you should put your date of birth, the country of your origin, read closely the instructions. There's a picture. You should write a story about it, and you should write it for up to 10 minutes. After you click get the results button, you will achieve this thematic apperception test results. Different psychological aspects of your today behavior or feelings are presented. There is the average data for male and female, and you can correspond them with your data that you achieved. This test is very good, interesting, and fun, but unfortunately it cannot be used. Well, there's no such test in Ukrainian, and those people whose first language is not English might give some slightly different and changeable results. That is why there's a great need of such psychological tool, psycholinguistic tool, I say, which will allow to help to analyze the text written in Ukrainian. Some of the coefficients that may be used are the coefficient of emotionality of the text, the Trager coefficient, which indicates the emotional stability or instability of the investigee, the coefficient of certainty of the action, of aggressiveness, of directivity, of vocabulary diversity, of logical coherence, and embolism. The basic algorithm how the thematic apperception test information technology should work contains of such steps. You might see them. Well, the investigee is supposed to be authorized, as well the psychologist supposed to be authorized in the system, as well as soon as text is achieved in the system. The first step is to perform, the first moment is to perform the lemmatization, to make some statistical analysis of the lemmas and the statistical analysis of the text. The statistical analysis of the text means that we shall count the longest word, the number of sentences, the number of words, number of different words, etc. Then the coefficients, as we were described before, are calculated, and the conclusion about the psychological state of the investigee is suggested. The Infological model of the database for such a perception test information system was designed. The main part is that the psychological session, of course, should contain data about the psychologist and the client, its first, last name, sex, date of birth, contacts, as well as different information about the psychologist. The psychologist session will produce text and or audio part of the meeting. At this slide, the structure of the database of the thematic apperception test information system presented. The statistics of the test analysis will be held in the table statistic. It's almost in the middle, closer to the left. This table represents all the characteristics of the text most fully and is the most informative. This table contains fields ID stat and ID embol, the words, sentences, information about the total number of sentences and words in text, as well as amount of verbs, nouns, adjectives, condition words, and different words as well. The same what supposed the information system do was done by hands. The student, the investigee, wrote a text about a story about the picture they saw, and different numbers of word counts, of sentences, of different coefficients were calculated, and according to this we have some numbers that could be compared to the normal one. To pass such a test, a comfortable environment should be provided. To develop the page, it was decided to use the appropriate internet resources, and the most useful one was decided as the Wix, a platform with a huge variety of structural elements, which will help to create an animated website with a simple, intuitive interface that no one was distracted. The platform was used to develop an information system from the PsychoHelp as the front end and the appropriate information technology. The site consists of 5 main pages: registration page, introduction, the test, and the results, and of course the page of feedback. Animated video is calming colors, light blue and violet, was chosen as background for all pages. Also, in the lower right corner of each page, there are buttons which redirect to some social media. These are the accounts of the platform on which the website was developed and which can help to improve it. The test contains a picture, as you see before, and a field for a person to enter the text in Ukrainian. The submitted text is processed and results are shown as on this slide. The person can send them to the personal and psychologist's mail by pressing the button Send. The results are structured into a table that contains the following columns: coefficient, the norm of the coefficient, value, and the description. The coefficient column lists the indicators that software needs to calculate. In this case, the coefficient is emotionality, trigger index, certainty of action, directivity, vocabulary diversity, aggressiveness, local connectedness, and embolism. As a conclusion, we can say that